Hey sweeties, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So I'm honestly really excited to be able to do this video. I'm a little bit sorry that it is delayed, it is late, but it's because I actually only found out from looking at Twitter. It wasn't like a super announced thing, at least for me. I had no idea about it. But as you guys can tell from the title, what I'm going to be talking about today, it's actually about Bloxburg and them doing a Q&A. The official devs who obviously make Bloxburg what it is, they ended up doing a huge Discord event, but basically what they did was they did answer the most common questions and things that people were really curious about in the community, and just kind of answering some really things that people were just so curious about that's just been on their minds. And I thought it was actually really cool. However, because it's not as known, I decided as well I wanted to try and have a look, and luckily somebody actually was recording it, so I got to go and look into it myself and see kind of what they actually were talking about. So, along with that, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a huge summary of everything that they said, because obviously there was a lot to take in and probably not everyone wanted to. And this is literally, I'm going to tell you guys, I literally sat through this for like over an hour and actually wrote everything down that was kind of important. Some things were just things that nobody really, that just kind of weren't proper answers or like anything that was quite necessary. So I did a lot of key points, but this was an hour's worth of stuff that I managed to cram in and obviously answer and show the answers and talk about it and just really summarize everything that they told us. So let's get into it. So the first thing that I do want to apologize for is the fact that this is going to be completely random, but it's in the order of everything that they mentioned, and I didn't want to actually, go through it and then put it all together in separate areas. So everything is just random and put out there, but it is absolutely everything they said in the order that they answered these questions. So let's get to that. So the first kind of thing that they spoke about was about adding new plots and apartments, potentially islands, as that is a very common question that loads of people have thought about. They wanted some island plots, some premium plots, things like that. And they said that they want to definitely do it, but they obviously are more focused on the new map, so they're looking into doing that once the new map and then new variations, and it's all smooth sailing with that, because they definitely want to. And I'm really excited about the apartment option because I love it when they do that in games. It's so cute, and normally they always make them look really good. So it'd be cool if there was like a pre-built one, but that's all that they said, is that they will look into it. Another thing was a bit more for the builders was roof tools rework, such as like attics, skylights, and just kind of making more hollow roofs. And they said that the system is actually very complex for them, and they want to, but because it's so difficult, it's really hard for them to try and implement it into the system. Obviously, I'm not very tech-minded, so I was really glad that they did, try and describe it in the best way they could, but that is basically the reason why they haven't, because it's not as easy considering all of us, that's why they haven't added that many hollow roofs, because again, it's not a very easy thing to do, but I appreciate that they told us that it was difficult and that they'll look into it. The next thing is about the new map with public transport, and they said they would love to add it, and there's definitely going to seem more likely that they're going to be adding things as buses and things, but there's no time frame for it. Speaking of vehicles, though, they did mention something about new fast cars, and they did say that because of the new map they've got, it's not that great to have really fast cars. However, they did end up telling us that there is a highway that is going to be on the new map, and because of that, maybe you can ride it on there. So I definitely think they're going to be adding more sports cars, which is something Bloxburg has never had. So that would be very exciting, and I definitely am looking forward to something like that. But it definitely doesn't seem like it's going to be coming the moment the new map is released. The next thing, again, still within builders, is select multiple objects. They said this is probably not going to happen, basically, because it's quite a difficult system and it's not very practical. It's quite difficult and it could become, they didn't say this part, but it probably would cause a lot of problems if this became a thing. So, I don't know, but I don't think that's probably happening. And they did get asked a lot about how are they going to gain back the trust of the player base, and they just said that they're going to be improving their communications. Again, this isn't exactly I'm sorry about the order, but I'm trying to follow everything that they said. They really wanted to improve the communication, and because of this Q&A alone, I genuinely believe that is what they are doing, so I'm very proud of them. The next thing, going back to what we said, obviously, with public transports and cars and things, they did mention about boats and planes and different types of transport. And I think Oh my goodness, I was so excited. They said definitely, just there's no timeline for that. And when they say that, they mean that it's not going to be coming anytime soon, but it is always going to be something they're brainstorming, because they've said that they've been doing like the new map and everything ever since like January. So they've been working on it for a whole year, and it's still not going to be released probably until next year, I believe. So honestly, it's quite a lot for them to be able to try and say for definite that there's a time frame on when they're going to be adding some of the things that they like. But I appreciate the fact that they are listening, and they definitely are thinking about adding boats and planes. Some other things was about other job reworks. They said they will change it down the line, but they don't want to focus all of their time on the jobs, which I do appreciate again, because come on, we all got a bit annoyed when they were focusing on the jobs so much and we weren't getting any new items, any reworks of any of the actual plots or anything. So it was really exciting to finally get a chance to hear the developers say that they're not trying to focus all their time on that. Now, the next thing is about plot data. Obviously, loads of people who like to do those intricate builds. I personally would, but it lags too much if it's too much plot data is filled up. But they said they want to, but it's kind of reliant on ROBLOX as the system that ROBLOX has. It's quite difficult for them to be able to make it larger. However, they did tell us that they actually increased it before by 40%, which is crazy, guys. So seriously, big props to them. That is really cool, and we definitely appreciate it, because now we can have bigger builds, which I definitely like to do. And something that was actually a really fun thing was a bit more about the lore, a bit more about personality to the game. So they actually said that they probably are going to be adding maybe a bit more interaction. So things like maybe making NPCs have a bit more of a story, or a bit more, like conversation, just make them a little bit more, like an actual real life simulation, because that is kind of what the game is about. But they said that they're thinking about adding that, as they're constantly talking about it, which was really, really cool. The next thing is about the gifting game passes and currency to players. So they said within the next year after Christmas, so we'll be able to do this, and that is definitely coming. And that is going to be literally probably like after New Year's maybe. So it will be like a belated kind of Christmas gift, which is really cool. And something I thought was honestly one of the best things that I really wanted to know about was pets. And definitely the part you guys probably wanted to hear about. But yes, they want to add them, but they want to make them more into a simulation, like adding more complexity to them. So they don't want them to just follow you around, which I definitely think was a worry for a lot of players. But they've already said that they don't want to do that. They want to make sure that if they do release the pets, when they do, because they have said they're going to, they want to do it well, and they want to do it right, which was the best thing any dev could say. I'm very happy with that response, and I like the fact that they didn't tell us it's at any time frame or anything. It's definitely going to happen, but again, nothing can be sure, because they can't reveal too much. We've got to be waiting for things, but still, I was very excited about that, and I'm sure you guys are too. Don't be too worried about it turning into an adopt me, because they're clearly not wanting that. The next thing, it kind of goes back to the select multiple objects, is about relocating or moving an entire building on a plot. They said it's a very complex feature. They want to one day, but it's not going to happen probably anytime soon. So anyone who was really disappointed about that, I'm sorry. But there are a lot more things that they've got to rely on ROBLOX for, and also these are things that they can only do, with the time they've got and everything. Overall, we don't know how much work they're putting into it, but we can tell based on the fact that, there's a lot of things they've tried adding, but, they're working it out. It's give them some time. But I also do like the fact that they are telling us as well when things are complex and when things are hard to add. So we know that it's not just something that they're just saying, we don't want to add it, we just don't think it's right. It's just something that they can't do, really. Another question was about more cultural stuff, such as food and items. They definitely do, and they're constantly looking for suggestions, but they want to make sure that they do it right, again, because they don't want to mess it up and get into, probably any trouble with it, because you don't want them to add something that's a cultural item and it's wrong. The next thing is about Coeptus, if he's still on the game. They said he's not actively on the game anymore, like he weighs in a few times and such things as like the new map and decisions, but he's not really, like in it all the time. It's kind of a part-time thing, which is really cool that he still, tells and talks to like the team, but obviously he sold it for a reason, guys. I think it's good that he's not on it all the time. The next thing is about revamping old items. So they said they'll take time to replace, but they want to make it all their own, because a lot of them were from ROBLOX, the actual like catalogs and like the features there. So they want to actually redo them and make them all their own. Next thing, resizable walls. It's hard to implement and it's hard for programmers, so it's probably not on their timeline. So I don't imagine that we're ever going to really be able to resize walls, but who knows? They about something a little bit more to do with like build mode really is about changing the decals, and they actually ended up elaborating quite a bit on this and said that that wasn't their only plan. They know that for obviously when you're in build mode you're so focused, so they were thinking about, you know, obviously even like when you're in build mode, opening and closing doors, turning off and on lights, and obviously again changing decals. They said they're focusing on it occasionally, but you know, it's not that soon. It's definitely not going to be coming, but it's so cool that this was something even discussed. The next thing is about avatar customization. So they'll be adding things like body scaling, more clothing, tons of things, all within the next year, which is really cool for us Bloxburg players. More floors in terms of, you know, how we only have up to 5 and then 1 basement. Because of that, they said they're not sure how it would look, and they don't know if it would make it look right for the game. So this isn't something that they can't do. They just said that they're not thinking about doing it because they're not entirely sure if it would look right based on the way their game is. So it's kind of up to them. We'll see. Now, they did get asked about why they changed the job efficiency system and everything. Basically, they said they needed to change it because there was a lot of things behind the scenes that we don't know about that was quite difficult, but they also wanted to make sure that none of us are missing out. So basically, you guys are being paid accordingly. So let's say they changed one of the jobs. They really wanted to make sure that you guys would still be able to have fun with the new job that they just changed rather than be stuck in a one that they haven't reworked yet and changed for you, as well as also being asked why they went free to play. They always intended to. This was what Froggy Hop said, and he obviously was there with Coeptus as well. He said they always intended to keep it this way, but they wanted to make sure, like, you know, they could control the exploiters and bots, which I thought was really cool that he admitted to. So, yeah. And obviously, one of the kind of more important things that loads of people in the chat on this Q&A were asking about was about Halloween and their winter and all of their events. They did say that Halloween, they are obviously with everything, they're changing their approach to seasonal events. And obviously, Halloween's going to be coming out very soon, about like the, you know, first part of October. And then winter, they've obviously still got the elf hunt, a better experience for it, and especially for new players. And that will probably come out at the start of December. And obviously, they even gave us a little thing. They don't want to reveal too much again, but for New Year's, they're going to be releasing a new location, which is really, really cool. The next few things is about an interactive phone. They are trying to make it fit the game UI, but there is no timeline on that. A bit unfortunate, I know, but I am very excited for it. And then obviously they said that for the future, they've got events like this planned using voice chat and an open neighborhood to talk to people. So guys, we could probably get a lot more communication from the devs if they are planning to do this. And this is another plus of them adding voice chat to the game. And then obviously the final thing that I know you guys all actually care about, the school. Yes, they actually are going to be adding a school. There is no timeline on it, but they are adding it. The only reason they've taken so long is because they actually want to have actual gameplay. So it's not just a building and there's actual classes and things to do, you know, so you're not bored and you're not just walking into a building just like we did with the town center thing that we've got. And I think that is really cool. Definitely something all of us would have asked for. I bet if it did come out and it was just a building, we all would have been miserable. I know that was an awful lot to take in. It was a lot to try and listen to. And obviously, I cut a few things out because some things were just about kind of the same thing. They were just repeating a few. But this was about an hour. I had to try and summarize it. I'm pretty sure you can tell I've tried speaking fairly fast, but I hope that kind of got everything. Any questions you guys have, obviously, they did go and leave it on Discord once they got off the call. They were open for a little while, talking to people, answering some more questions. So there's probably a lot more that I missed. But that is overall everything that was the most common questions that people have wanted to know, and I'm really grateful that they actually did tell us. It was really, really cool. Nonetheless, though, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this actually was very helpful for you guys to find out everything if you guys missed out on the chat as well. And with that being said, me and my dear husband Tom, yep, that's right, me and him are an item, especially ever since I could actually grab him as an item. Me and him, we're saying goodbye to you. So thank you so much, everybody, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.